Welcome back, everyone. The iPhone 12 Pro just came out, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at it against the iPhone XS. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone already knows how the iPhone XS is, but the 12 Pro is that newer Apple iPhone, and this one is costing $1,000 to pick up. The iPhone XS does not cost $1,000 to pick up anymore. You can pick up this thing for around less than $450, which is really impressive because this is a really good phone still. The iPhone 12 Pro is the best iPhone you can pick up if you have all the money in the world. Then obviously pick up this phone. But I think the iPhone XS is still a tremendous device for a majority of people out there. Now, side by side, you can kind of see what the size difference is. They're both almost exactly the same size. However, the iPhone 12 Pro does have a bigger display and it's a little bit longer, but it seems a little bit less narrow on the side. So longer here, but narrow. So that's kind of one thing to keep in mind. It's mostly because of the curved sides on the XS versus the flat sides on the iPhone 12 Pro. Now, looking on the front panels of both, the iPhone XS had that 5.8-inch panel, the Super Retina OLED screen, and it was a very good looking panel. I can spend all day talking about it, and I can spend a little time talking. The way they look is almost exactly the same. The resolution is 1125 by 2436, and you still have that notch, you still have the same exact bezel around the screen, but the bezels have gone down a little bit more on the iPhone 12 Pro, mostly because of the flat sides. So it appears to be a little bit thinner, which is kind of funny. The notch is the same size, everything's pretty much still there, but the XS had a very good panel. I didn't hate it, I didn't have anything wrong with it, and even with the 12 Pro, it's just bigger, really. It doesn't seem like it's way better or anything like that. It's just a bigger display. So with the iPhone 12 Pro, on the other hand, we're getting a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, and this one is 1170 by 2532, so a little bit higher resolution, not like an insane amount, but it's still a higher resolution display than the iPhone XS. So far from what I've seen on it, it looks like a very good panel. I don't have anything to hate on it, so that's a very important thing to keep in mind. But I think when you're looking at them side by side and comparing them every single day, I don't think you're going to feel like you have a super bad panel on the XS or the 12 Pro. I think they're really good. I really wished both of these had some sort of, refresh rate increase, something like a Galaxy S20. Those panels are really good. These two are very good, and I don't think one is way better than the other one. The 12 Pro is just bigger. Now, like I said, side by side, you can kind of see which one is the bigger one. The 12 Pro is longer. It doesn't really feel thicker on the sides, though, so it's not going to feel like you have a way bigger phone. Now, on the curved sides, though, that's one thing we're probably going to see a bigger difference on, in my opinion, and that's mostly because of the thickness. So on the iPhone 12 Pro, Apple said it's thinner than the previous models and everything, and they seem kind of the same, but the biggest difference is because of the curved panel and the curved edge on the iPhone XS, it gives us the illusion that it is actually more of a curved phone and a thinner phone. We've seen this time and time again with previous generations of phones. The iPhone 12 Pro, it's thinner than the thickest part of the iPhone XS, I guess, is what they're saying, at least compared to the 11 Pro, and that still may be the case, but previously, I guess, the 12 Pro is going to be thinner. And on the back, we have a triple camera setup with the LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 12 Pro, dual camera setup on the iPhone XS, glass backs on both, but we do kind of have this frosted glass back on the iPhone 11 Pro or the 12 Pro, which feels really good. It's not as pronounced as the 11 Pro, that's kind of what I was going to say, but the XS glass back, I have a skin over it, but the XS glass back is still very good for the most part. Now, you do have IP certification on both of these, but the certification is much better as far as I've heard on the iPhone 12 Pro than on the iPhone XS. But in terms of the outside, they're both kind of the same thing. Obviously, the 12 Pro is better feeling and better looking, the better cameras, the better sides look really cool too, but I think for a lot of people, the XS will still probably be okay. I'm not going to say this phone is perfect or this phone is perfect, but I would definitely say going to the XS to the 12 Pro, you're definitely going to see an increase in terms of the build quality. So in terms of the outside, that pretty much covers it up. Now, in terms of the software, this is another pretty easy thing to, hit on. Because these are both iOS, we can already assume that the iPhone XS and the iPhone 12 Pro will both be getting updates for quite a bit of time. It's not like tomorrow these things are going to be outdated, but definitely when it comes down to maybe a couple of years from now, this thing may not last as long as the iPhone 12 Pro. The 12 Pro could theoretically last a couple more years than the iPhone XS, so kind of keep that in mind. But if you get either one of these today, it's not like they're going to, be outdated tomorrow or next year or anything. So you don't really have to worry about that on either of these phones, which is a good thing. So in terms of software, that pretty much covers it up. I'll go ahead and do a speed test between both of these right now. The iPhone XS had that Apple A12 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, with the iPhone 12 Pro has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, so let me go ahead and clear out on all these apps in the background. It should only take like 2 seconds. And so far, from what I'm seeing, the iPhone 12 Pro is looking to be like the faster phone compared to my predecessors that I've been comparing it to. But I think the XS has done a pretty good job throughout its life cycle too. So let's go and start loading these apps up. Let's go and do something like the phone calls. 3, 2, 1. and about the same on both. Let's do Safari, and let's just go and load up something like Google, for example. It seems to be a good page, 321. Definitely, I guess, faster on the iPhone 12 Pro right there. Animations seem to be about the same. Like I've stated before, it's been a pretty consistent ride. Music 321, and we've been getting these pop-ups, so I don't really know which one was the faster one. We can do the App Stores 321. And definitely the iPhone 12 Pro was the faster one there, as you guys saw scrolling through. They look about the same here too. I mean, actually the 12 Pro may look a little bit smoother. The 10s kind of not glitchy, but definitely just seems like the 12 Pro may be a little bit smoother. Now, as always, I have a bunch of these third-party apps that we can go and get into. Let's do Facebook 321. 12 Pro is definitely the faster one there. Let's go and do Twitter 321. And you can see again, actually, I don't know which one was faster there. I kind of looked away for a second. My bad. Let's do Instagram 321. I think the 12 Pro was faster there again. Let's do Snapchat 321. And 12 Pro is definitely faster there for sure. We can do Paper IO 2, 3, 2, 1. And they changed their icon recently, so that's why it's always so confusing when I try to look for it. And we will see that the 12 Pro is the faster one, but only slightly. It's not really as big of a difference as I was expecting, and that's kind of what I've been saying. I've been kind of saying that the new iPhone 12s are faster than the predecessors, but just slightly. It's not like a humongous difference, It's not like a groundbreaking or shattering difference. Let's do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And you can see the iPhone 12 Pro is looking to be definitely way faster than the iPhone XS. And I mean, it's pretty obvious, the 12 Pro was faster there. The iPhone XS definitely wasn't super behind, but it was definitely slower. But again, how many times are you going to be comparing these phones against each other every single day? I doubt you're going to be doing, day by day. So kind of keep that in mind. Let's do BOFA 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 12 Pro is faster. iPhone XS behind it. Quizlet 3, 2, 1. iPhone 12 Pro again is the faster one. The iPhone XS right behind it. Netflix 3, 2, 1. And again, I think the iPhone 12 Pro was a little bit behind. The iPhone XS was the iPhone 12 Pro was faster, but the iPhone XS was a little bit behind of it. Snake versus Blocks 3, 2, 1. And again, the 12 Pro is the faster one. Getting into some gameplay, and it's going to be about the same. The 12 Pro kind of glitched in the beginning with a couple of games that I tested, but right now they're looking to be about the same here. Let's go ahead and do Thank You 3, 2, 1. And actually, the 10s got a little bit ahead of there. I don't know why that happened, but I guess it was a little bit faster for this specific game. Could be an update. Could be it is actually a little bit faster for this game. So who knows? Let's do Stack 3, 2, 1. iPhone 12 Pro is faster. iPhone XS a little bit behind. Again, I don't think gameplay is going to be a big difference between these two. The XS is still capable, and the iPhone 12 Pro is more than capable. And we can go ahead and end it off with the Fruit Ninja 3, 2, 1. I would end it off with the Real Racing 3, and I'm going to try that. And this is a pretty obvious one. The 12 Pro definitely faster. 10s right behind it. Let's go and end it off with the Real Racing 3. Hopefully it opens on the 10s. 3, 2, 1. And I saw yesterday for some reason the 10s was just not opening up properly. I don't know why that happened, but I guess we'll try it again. Okay, so this is further than where I got yesterday. Let's go ahead and see if one is faster. So the 12 Pro definitely faster. The iPhone XS a little bit behind it. So what I can tell you is, I think in my opinion, and it's pretty obvious, the iPhone 12 Pro is the faster one. There were a couple of times, I think like twice, that the iPhone XS was faster. But I think time and time again, you're probably going to see that the iPhone 12 Pro is the faster phone. But like I'm going to say, to probably everyone who's wondering this, you're not going to be comparing these two phones next to each other every single day. You're just going to use your phone and kind of move on with your life. And I say that because you're probably not going to be doing comparisons. You're probably not going to care. You just want a phone that's faster and you don't really want to think about it. And I think with the iPhone 12 Pro, it's pretty much there. It's not going to be a slow phone. You're not going to feel like you have a much slower device. RAM management looks and kind of appears to be kind of the same thing. So, I mean, you kind of have a Pro there. So I'll probably tell you, like, if you have an iPhone 12 Pro, it's a faster phone for sure. But if you have iPhone XS, it's still pretty fast. Like, it's like pretty much right there with the iPhone 12 Pro. So in terms of speed comparison, that covers it up. I'll do a full one if you guys want to see it, but let's go and hit on the cameras very quickly. On the iPhone 12 Pro, as stated before, you have a triple camera setup with a LiDAR sensor. The iPhone XS has a dual camera setup, all 12 megapixel sensors on all these phones. Now you have a telephoto lens and an ultra-wide sensor and a LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 12 Pro with that wide-angle lens, where you only have that telephoto lens with the wide-angle lens on the iPhone XS. Now you can do 4K at 60 on both these phones, But some of the main differences will actually come in terms of the front camera. I think the back camera is going to be about the same. You can kind of see that these colors look a little bit warmer. But on the iPhone XS, on that front camera, you can do 1080p at 60 frames. With the front camera of the 12 Pro, you can do 4K at 60, which that in and of itself is a pretty big deal in my opinion. Now, I think the iPhone XS camera quality is still very good for a majority of things that you're going to do with it. And like I said before, I think a lot of people just want to take their phone out and just do a camera video or photo and just move on, or take a Snapchat or make a TikTok or something. Like, they're not really thinking too hard about the quality of their videos or photos. Now, if you're a filmmaker or something, then obviously the 12 Pro is going to be the better one for you. But I think for a majority of people out there, the back camera of this is pretty good, but you're just going to feel like you have kind of not as great of a front camera in my opinion, because this is 7 megapixels compared to the 12 megapixels on the front camera of the iPhone 12 Pro. But on top of that, 1080p at 60 versus 4K at 60. I'd rather have 4K at 60 than 1080p. And that's why I kind of think the iPhone 12 Pro's camera is probably the better one. I don't think the iPhone XS camera is bad, and I don't even think the iPhone 12 Pro's camera is the best of this year. But I think the 12 Pro's camera, for the most part, gets the job done. The quality is good. It's very predictable, as I said before, and it just gets the job done. There's nothing like you have to worry about. It'll just be able to take the photos, videos, and move on. I think that front camera on this is probably its biggest asset over the XS, because you do have that 4K at 60, so that's a pretty big thing to keep in mind. I think if you have the iPhone XS, it's a good enough camera, but the 12 Pro is probably the better one as expected. So that pretty much covers it up in the camera department. Now, ending it off with the battery life, the iPhone XS had a 2,658 milliamp hour battery. The iPhone 12 Pro has a 2,815 milliamp hour battery. And I'll probably tell you that maybe the iPhone 12 Pro has a little bit better battery life, but it's really not even by much. Like, these two are probably going to be ending around the same time, if I'm being honest. I would not go from an iPhone XS to the 12 Pro in terms of battery life. So that's a pretty big thing to keep in mind. I will definitely tell you, if you have an iPhone XS, you probably know it's not the greatest, but it's definitely not horrible. And the 12 Pro is probably going to be around the same. If one of these had to outlast the other one, the 12 Pro would do it. I'll do a full comparison very soon, but to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you pick up the iPhone XS or should you pick up the iPhone 12 Pro? I'll definitely tell you, if you have the iPhone XS, keep it. I probably wouldn't go and recommend going to the 12 Pro, just because, it's just like a good upgrade, but price per value standpoint, the iPhone XS is such a good value in my opinion. And what I'll definitely tell you is, with a phone like the iPhone XS, it still has a really good build quality. You still have very good camera. You still have a pretty decent screen. It's compared to the Samsung Galaxy S20, it's not that great, but compared to something like the iPhone 12 Pro, it's pretty much the same panel for the most part. You're getting great performance. You're getting, good battery life, about the same as the iPhone 12 Pro. There's not that much to hate on this specific device. And for that price tag of $450 or less than $450, it's a very good pickup. That's my opinion. Now, with the iPhone 12 Pro, on the other hand, it's a better phone. It's a better iPhone than the iPhone XS, but it's not the best phone of this year. I don't even think it's the best $1,000 phone, to be completely honest. I feel like with all the features that we're getting with these 2020 year phones, I was expecting more, to be honest. Now, you're getting a better build quality. Maybe you're getting better cameras. You're getting better IP certification. You're getting twice the amount of base storage, which is cool. You're getting a faster performing chipset. You're getting all these different things. But I'll definitely tell you, I think if you have the iPhone XS, I would recommend keeping it for a little while. But I still think if you have an iPhone 12 Pro, if you have all the money in the world, getting the iPhone 12 Pro is the best way to go. This is the best iPhone right now, but it doesn't mean it's the best valued iPhone in my opinion. So that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. Again, if you want to buy these, links will be down in the description below. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. But more importantly, everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.